stuff like that. President William Ruto on the other side is hoping for the same, that those small parties around him should just collapse and create a bigger monolithic UDA party. The thinking is the same, don't you agree?
I agree. Well, these are politicians cut from the same cloth. Let's not forget that. Let's remember that they spring from the Moi template. And having sprung from the Moi template, we must remember as well that Moi's approach to politics was that of a domineering, de-starring political figure who provided vision and guidance to the nation. And every other person was supposed to coalesce and follow that ambition to its fruition. And if you then fell out, then you did fall out, and in style. Now, when you look at the intent, forget about these malicious painting. But as an aside, let me say, our political parties act does ensure for any person, including her or anybody else, you want to set up a political party. You are, about 18 years old. This is constitutionally entrenched in Article 38 of the Constitution that yes, you can join and be in any political party. You can form your own political party. You can form your own called life or whatever it is that you want to call it. Of course, the registrar of political parties has then to sustain either name is okay. So within that framework, everybody has that right. But the question is now, will the exercise of that right to form a political party and the multiplicity of these political parties ensure, as it were, that you have democracy? Look at the U.S. The U.S., for instance, they have frowned very much on a third horse. It always is, Democrats and Republicans to their shame, let me see. And if you recall, if I take you back to around, I think 1992, there was Rose Perot. Rose Perot did actually spring up as an alternative during that period to the presidential candidates that were there. But what happened to him? And he had a mass following. People who wanted to break away from these two political parties. And since then, well, the whole scenario has, again, gone to an equilibrium of the two political parties. Coming back now here. What is the significant advantage? I don't want to call it a political monolith, that you have one huge political party without any opposition that is formidable enough to challenge these political party in power. The Political Parties Act does ensure that you have the political parties fund, and that accrues out of your going out there to the masses, selling your agenda, and then having people under you, your political party, going to the National Assembly and the Senate. In other words, you have the numbers then to dictate governance. So you do have some advantages of having a political monolith, but that does not mean that you allow the secession, the killing, the negation of other competing political parties. What is important to me is that Gachagua said, yes, come on, go out and mobilize. Don't sit down in a boardroom and feel and express your intent here of entitlement. Now, my supposition is, and I could be wrong, that the meeting between Kalonzo and Uhuru was intent on trying to bridle, trying to, railroad Gachagua into these expectation that he has, that he will be, as the senior most person, and feeling entitled to that position. With respect to him, I don't mean to demean. I'm not speaking for anybody else. It's my own opinion. And therefore, Gachagua seems to be bolting from that conception that he has, that he's entitled. But his entitlement is, as he has expressed before, well, I've yielded the opportunity before to Honorable Raila, and unfortunately now he's deceased. Therefore, I stand the best chance, and I should. But he's not going on the ground. And the fact that he's not going on the ground means for his own ground, there is some decimation. I saw Mutusa going there and probably getting funding from the state so that he can enlarge UDA's presence there. And there are people there who are keen on overrunning him. So, and like you say, that we can't see you on any podium. Where are you? So they have to go to the archive to look for his images. So I think using his resources, then Uhuru and probably network and influence, then he's expected to tell Gachagua, look, you ought to yield to Kalonzo. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it will happen. And I think the trajectory that Gachagua has taken is that, look, I have laid a blueprint for you using Okalau. You can do it in Matuga. You can do it in Busia. You can do it wherever you are. So go and do it, because now you have the blueprint. Now with that sort of blueprint, once we funnel our own basis, then we can meet that point. And let's not forget that NARC was formed towards now, 3 months towards the election in 2002. So I do not think in respect that is a bad idea. Go strengthen your base and let's see your political support, because that's going to do, in my view, 2 things. A, demonstrate to the people that this is a legitimate person who the electorate actually are backing. Number 2, you will eliminate such frivolous persons who, if they go now to the election, can actually be outrun by the people that you want to, defeat. So it does work that, in my humble view, objectively. Now, these other person, lastly, this person now being accused of, you want to dictate and all of that, he will be absolved. In the way that he has been saying that, look, in Mbeere North, I told you that, look, I don't want to interfere. I want you to have the space. And I don't want to be seen as domineering or imposing my own candidate. As a matter of fact, I'm standing down my own candidate so that you can go. And Honorable Muturi then had the free way to go ahead and do what he did. So he is saying, by example, this is how I played it, and this is how I want to play it. So, look, I want the people down there to speak for themselves through you, who you say you control or you want dominance in that place, not domineering, dominance in that place. And then we meet, because then you have your own candidate that you say, this will win, that will win. And that way then we can say that we will form the government, and therefore a majority, and therefore beneficiaries of the political parties fund.
Right.
And therefore, you develop democracy in that way.
Yes. But on this issue of entitlement, it's not just a problem with the opposition, that there are parties even on the other side that are working. Parties are